At Face It Together Sioux Falls, we help both individuals who are suffering from the disease of addiction and also family members who are affected by another's disease. We offer recovery support services, so that might be something like someone walking into the center, maybe either for themselves or for a family member looking for, how do I go to treatment maybe? There's that, if you've never navigated that type of system before, it can be really confusing. So it's nice to have someone here, whether it's a staff member or volunteer, who can help guide that process. We're actually quite different. We work with treatment providers, but we don't actually offer like an intensive outpatient program or any kind of residential program. What we do is totally different. We are the hub, really. We're like a clearinghouse. So we have connections with all different resources within the community to help people, like I was talking about, maybe first, if they're needing that referral, to go get an assessment done or to go get started on a treatment program. We can visit with someone and say, okay, do you have insurance, or what are your main issues, and kind of point them in, these might be your best 3 options. Let's start from there. Let's help you make some phone calls. And then we don't endorse any specific pathway. There's some treatment facilities that are very 12-step based or very faith-based, or something like that. There's kind of a guided direction that people are being placed in. We think that there's many pathways to recovery, so we want to help every individual find their own path. I like to run. That's my thing. I've been in recovery for over 9 years. And some of my best friends go to AA meetings regularly. One of our staff members here, he's a leader in the Smart Recovery group. There's so many people who find recovery through spiritual-based organizations too. So it's just kind of, we work to help each individual find what's the right path for them. Anyone can access our services. Everything that we do free of charge. We have United Way funding and also funding from different employers in the community, as well as private donors. So we don't charge for any of our services. So it's just a matter of getting connected with us. Whether you pick up the phone and call, you can call any time of day. Somebody's going to answer the phone, whether it's during office hours, or we have an answering service that also takes care of our calls. Say in the middle of the night, you're thinking, I really need to talk to somebody, I want to start talking, pick up the phone and call. You can call 605-274-2262, or you can always check out our website. It's www.faceitSiouxFalls.org, and there's an info email there, info@faceitSiouxFalls.org. Somebody will get back to you within 24 hours if you drop a line there. For some people, that sort of not having to actually talk to somebody in the first step is a little bit easier. So we like having that email option as well. Otherwise just stop into the center. Monday through Thursday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday. Also Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think #1 health issue in the community and in our country, billions and billions of dollars is the cost of addiction, really, if you get down to the bottom line of it. And also, even more severe than that, the lives lost and the lives affected. In Sioux Falls, you could say that there's probably 18 to 20,000 people over the age of 12 who suffer from the disease of addiction. Some people in recovery, some people not. And the issue there is that a lot of people don't get the help that they need. Every year about 90% of people don't reach out for help. And the unfortunate thing is that there are so many programs and so many resources out there, but there's so much stigma and shame and fear that's associated with addiction. That's a big thing too that we work on, is the awareness piece of it. Because here at Face It Together Sioux Falls, we know addiction is a disease, but we know it's a treatable chronic disease like diabetes or like hypertension. You just have to take better care of yourself and learn how to manage that disease. For the longest time, addiction was looked at as a moral failing. It was looked at like, well, you just can't control yourself. Well, it's a brain disease. And when we bring the dialogue up and we're having conversations like this and we're raising awareness and making people understand that this is a disease and this is something you should talk to your doctor about, and that you're not a bad person if you think you have a problem, but go talk to your doctor, have that first visit. I think as long as we keep this dialogue going, more people are going to keep getting well, and some of that stigma is going to keep going away. The unfortunate thing, I think, too, with addiction is that it does cost so much because we've treated it in an episodic fashion. We wait until someone's going to the emergency room, or we wait until someone's been arrested, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is this big problem. With other diseases, we don't do that. You know, we have the conversation with our doctor when symptoms first start. And when we can get to that point with addiction where we're working on, where we treat this as a chronic disease and not as an episodic disease, then, you know, we're making progress there. And I think then we're going to see the costs go down, we're going to save lives, and get more people well, you know, and get people to realize that life is amazing and wonderful. And being in recovery, you know, I don't put a label on myself like, well, I'm an alcoholic. I just don't do that. It's like, you know what, I'm well, I'm happy, and I'm in recovery, and life is great now because of that. So I just want to keep talking about that and spreading that message to people and letting people know that life can be a lot better, you know. You know, we want to make sure that everybody knows that this is not a place of judgment. We accept you exactly where you're at. We understand that recurrence of symptoms or relapse is part of the disease. You know, someone might be sober for several years or several decades, you know, and then something happens and the disease gets triggered back up. There's other diseases that we've really started to rally around people. You know, there's different cancer awareness events like breast cancer walks and stuff. You know, people really embrace their friends and their family members that have suffered, and they shower them with love, and they say it's okay and we're going to get through this. We haven't quite gotten to that point yet with addiction, you know, and I think we will. I really do. I think we can. And that's why I work here, and that's why I believe so strongly in what I do, because we need to get on par with the recognition of the other diseases, you know, that banding together and rallying around people and supporting each other. It's a disease, and it's something that's treatable and manageable, and lots of us who are in recovery have learned to live really meaningful, productive lives. So we always too try to send the message here that there's always hope, and we want people to understand that a life of recovery is a great life, you know, and that there's a caring recovery community here, and we want you to come join us.